We start the show with British Prime Minister Boris Johnson saying Friday he had tested positive for coronavirus and was self-isolating at Downing Street, but he would still lead the government's response to the accelerating outbreak. Now let's cross over to our reporter Nicole Johnston in London. Hey there, Nicole. So is this part of the herd immunity that the UK was striving for?
No, it's not, because that's a policy that the UK has since scaled back on, and they've really moved away from that idea of herd immunity. This information, though, has only come out in the last hour or so. It was released by the Prime Minister on video on Twitter. As you said, he claims that he's only suffering from mild symptoms at this stage, that he's at home and self-isolating, that he will continue to lead the government via video conference, remembering that under self-isolation he won't be able to see face-to-face any of his aides or senior advisors. He was tested after mild symptoms emerged and on the advice of the country's chief medical officer. And the last time that we saw the Prime Minister in public was on Thursday night. He emerged from Downing Street briefly, part of a national applause to all of the National Health Service workers across the country. Now let's have a listen to some of what Boris Johnson had to say in that video message.
Hi folks, I want to bring you up to speed with something that's happening today, which is that I've developed mild symptoms of the coronavirus. That's to say a temperature and a persistent cough. And on the advice of the chief medical officer, I've taken a test that has come out positive. So I am working from home, I'm self-isolating, and that's entirely the right thing to do. But be in no doubt that I can continue, thanks to the wizardry of modern technology, to communicate with all my top team to lead the national fight back against coronavirus.
So this is quite an extraordinary development in the UK, remembering, of course, that the British Prime Minister meets all sorts of senior members of the royal family ordinarily, as well as government officials. We'll be waiting to see over the next few days and couple of weeks whether any other senior members of government also test positive with coronavirus. And this has happened only a week after the news emerged that Prince Charles, the heir to the throne, has coronavirus. And Boris Johnson is now joining a growing list of world leaders who have had to self-isolate. Among that list is Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. He's self-isolating because his wife has been detected or infected with coronavirus. And the German Chancellor, Angela Merkel, also self-isolating. So what this means for the government at this stage, we're not sure. The government has decided that it will close Parliament early, ahead of Easter. But as we just heard from the Prime Minister, he says from his perspective, it's business as usual. He'll continue to lead the response, but he'll be doing it from home.